Hey there YouTube, it's Jeff Perry with MBN Investments, and today I'd like to go over an investment I made over the summer, a little home in San Antonio. So let's jump right into it. So we're taking a look at a 3-2 bedroom house in San Antonio, and really what I was looking for over the summer as to get kind of back into the real estate game was to look for a turnkey rental that had cash flow. So what I was looking for was a house with very little it needed very little work to get going, to get a renter in, and in this case of this house, it already had a renter, still had about 6 months left on her contract, and I was able to get a decent deal and even capture a little bit of equity, which is pretty rare on a turnkey investment. Okay, moving into the house here, you can see a nice little open living room, not really an open concept, but around the corner a kitchenette. Here's another picture of the living room. You can see where the kitchen starts there around the side of that kitchenette. That's the back door. To the right of the screen, you'll see an entrance to the master bedroom, which is downstairs, separated from the upstairs bedrooms. The staircase going up there is right across from the front door. Moving around the corner, you can kind of see part of the kitchen there, a galley-style kitchen. Nice white cabinets. Very minimal work is needed to this. Like I said, we were looking for a turnkey project, and turned out this one was a really good deal because we already had a tenant in it. The house sat on the market for a couple months, and this is right when the pandemic was rolling out in May, June. So we were able to get a pretty good deal because this house was not looked at by people who were wanting to own the home because it had a contract, a renter in it for another 6 to 7 months. But even as an investor, I feel like we got a pretty good deal, and we can kind of look at the initial financials here. List price was $142,500. We were able to work that down and get under contract after a couple attempts at $135,000. The appraisal came in when we got ready to close this loan at $147,000, so I feel pretty good about the capital gains that we got there. The market rent for this was, I think, $1,250 is what research was at. The current rent, the rent that the tenant was paying, was $1,200. But the cash flow on the market rent was $356 a month. Total cash out of pocket to close this loan was $34,235 with 20% down, closing costs, etc. And the unrealized capital gain was $68.40, which is kind of rare, I would say, for turnkey rental properties. A lot of times you're not going to get a capital gain because there's not a lot of work that needs to happen to the house. But annualized cash flow there is $4,200 plus or minus, and then the return on capital gains right at 20%. Cash on cash return at 13%. So I feel like this was, as far as a low risk investment with very little work to get rolling. Start to finish on this, we closed on this house in 3 weeks. Immediately had cash flow on this house with very little to do. As part of the inspection that came back, we got a new roof, we got the AC service, and we got various little other things fixed on the house. So not a bad deal all in all. Going into a little bit bigger financial look, here we got the rental at $1,200. This is the income for the property. Total monthly income was $1,200. Our taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and mortgage put us at $909. So that's where we came up with the cash flow of $356. So the income for the property is $14,400 a year. Expenses at $10,915. Which gave us an income with the current rent at $34.85. Again, like I said, market rent I think would be $12.50, which would add about $600 to this once we can move that up, either with a new tenant when their lease expires, the current tenant lease expires, or to get that bumped up over the course of a couple years. Again, at the same time, we anticipate to do a principal reduction of $1,800 a year, and if with the standard 1.5 appreciation, which by most means is pretty conservative, especially in the San Antonio market. This property would appreciate at around $2,100 a year, and the total economic gain on this property would be about $74.69. And for us, this was going to be, an intermediate hold, let's say 5 to 7 years, hoping to cash out with a little bit of the unrealized capital gains that we captured at first. Cash out and maybe cash out in the $30,000 range at the whole time, probably making $3,000 to $4,000 a year on rent. So not a bad deal. Again, really easy to get in on this. It was, I wouldn't say considerable cash out of pocket, but, it costs money to get into real estate, guys. So if these guys are out here saying, hey, you can get in for free, you're not going to need money, borrow someone else's money, In most cases, that's complete bullshit, especially when it comes to something that's going to need very little work. Some of these cases where you're working on a house that needs a ton of work and you go get hard money loan, and then you fix it up and then you go refi into a conventional loan, etc. You may get away with a lot less money down, but again, it's a higher risk. A lot of timelines have to be met. You still got to have money in the bank to get that hard money loan. But this one for us was an easy win, easy cash flow on a property that was in pretty good shape, and I felt pretty good about it being able to rent out long term. So thanks for joining us today, guys. That's how we're going to break down some of these investments pretty easy. We're going to be talking about other things on this channel as well, but if you like that, have any questions, please drop them down in the comment section. Like this video and subscribe for more.